The scariest illusion is thinking your home is your fortress. It's not. It's just a box with thin walls, fragile windows, and locks that anyone can pick. A box that separates you from them. But what if they don't want to come in? What if they've been inside all along? At 23, I thought of myself as an adult. My parents left me their country house for a couple of months while they went on vacation. For me, it was a chance to escape the city bustle and work on my project in peace. The house stood off the beaten path, the nearest neighbor a mile away. Nothing but forest and silence around. On the first day, it felt like paradise. It started with little things your brain dismisses as forgetfulness. Keys I was sure I left on the kitchen table would turn up on the fireplace mantel. A book I'd been reading in the living room appeared on the nightstand upstairs, though I didn't remember bringing it there. I laughed at my own absent-mindedness. Then it got stranger. I started finding things in the house that shouldn't have been there. Muddy boot prints on the living room carpet, even though it was dry outside and I always changed shoes at the door. Once I found a long black hair in the sink, though I lived alone. I started to think I was losing my mind, that isolation was messing with me. I set up a simple webcam in the living room, pointing it at the front door and the stairs, just for peace of mind. I wanted to prove to myself I was just tired. That night, I was working on my laptop in the upstairs study when a motion notification came through on my phone. I opened the live feed. My heart stopped. It wasn't a burglar. A burglar wouldn't play games. This was something else. Someone was in my house. Right now. They were hiding in the camera's blind spot and knew I was watching. It was a message. I'm here. I see you. I didn't scream. I understood the rules of the game. If I gave myself away, I'd lose. I quietly closed the laptop, trying to keep my hands from shaking. I locked the study door with the flimsy latch, and I started to think. My phone. I reached for it to call the police. No signal, not a single bar. He jammed it. He thought of everything. I was trapped upstairs. I heard him moving below. Not footsteps, barely audible creaks of the floorboards. He was exploring the house, slowly, unhurriedly. Then I heard the kitchen faucet turn on. Water ran for several minutes, then stopped. Why? To show me he could do whatever he wanted? I sat in the dark, clutching a heavy paperweight. And then I heard steps on the stairs. He was coming up. Step. Pause. Another step. He was savoring my fear. He knew I was sitting behind the door, listening. The footsteps stopped right outside the study. I held my breath. I saw a shadow flicker beneath the door. And then he knocked. It was the most terrifying sound I've ever heard. Not an aggressive bang, but a calm, casual knock, as if a guest had arrived. I pressed myself against the wall, clamping a hand over my mouth to keep silent. From outside came a low, muffled chuckle. Then the footsteps moved away. He went into the bedroom. I heard the wardrobe open.
clothes rustling as he sifted through them, and then a sound that turned my blood to ice. The sound of a recorder. My recorder, the one I used to dictate project ideas. And it was playing a recording. My own voice, calmly talking about work. He was listening to me. That broke me. It was too personal, too twisted. I realized he wasn't planning to kill me. Not right away. He wanted to dismantle me piece by piece, psychologically. And then I made my decision. I would not be the victim. I flung open the study window. Below was the veranda roof. I climbed out and jumped to the ground, badly twisting my leg. I didn't care about the pain. I ran to the only place I could hide, the forest. He turned on the music, loud, through the whole house, so I'd hear it, so the forest would hear it. He turned my escape into a theater performance. I ran until my lungs were on fire. I buried myself in wet leaves at the bottom of a ravine and lay still. I didn't know if he was following me. The music from the house was the only anchor in the darkness. I lay there for hours. The music finally stopped. I decided to risk it, to run for the highway. When I climbed out of the ravine, I saw him. He hadn't chased me. He'd known where I was the whole time. He'd just given me a head start. I ran again, no longer caring about stealth. I crashed through the bushes, screaming in terror and despair. Behind me, I heard his footsteps, unhurried. He didn't need to rush. I burst onto the road just as headlights appeared in the distance, my salvation. The car stopped and I pounded on the window, sobbing. Inside was an old farmer who called the police. They found no one. The house was empty. No signs of forced entry. Everything was in its place, except one thing. In my bedroom, on my bed, my clothes were laid out neatly, as if someone had been sleeping in them. And on the pillow was my phone. The gallery was open, and there was one new video.